If you're new here, let's play catch up a little bit. I am 3D printing the bricks to build a castle based on this Lego set design. Every brick is getting printed mostly in different pieces. Those pieces are put together into bricks, and those bricks are being assembled into a castle. Now, I think I've made some pretty good progress, but obviously I've got a lot left to do. Now, last time I left off saying that we needed a door right here. In the original set, there's sort of a little prison, and it's time to assemble that door and get it attached.
All right, let's get this door assembled. This is gonna be a little tricky, and I will admit, it's not actually the next thing I did. We're filming stuff out of order, so if you see things that I haven't built yet, that's why. Anyway, putting the door together, for the most part, I am using this new method of attaching things together that I am using with the walls. More on that in a bit. However, I haven't added the locking mechanism to the parts, so they can slide together, but they can also slide back apart. That's okay. There's only one of this door. I'm gonna use glue, and not just because of that. It's also because this is a different part, and I have to do some other special stuff with it. Specifically, it has to be on a hinge. That hinge has to work and hold up the weight of the door. Yeah, so a lot of parts are gonna happen. So first, I'm going to be putting together all of the horizontal parts that will make up the whole door, then I'll start assembling those, but there's another step in there as well. So this has to be put together a little bit specially. This is my hinge piece. That's what it looks like in the original design. It's all one. I printed it as two that can just go together, and I am going to glue this together to make printing easier. This piece printed this direction, but this piece also had to print this direction, so I put this little drop-in piece so that I didn't have to have any supports. And you can see I've got holes right here, and those holes are actually also running through several of the parts on the door. So this, for example, has that hole running through. I'm gonna have a piece of metal all thread running through part of the door and this hinge, but because it doesn't run through the whole door, I can't take this piece in and out, which means I have to assemble the door and the hinge to be together permanently. Now, it should still work as a hinge, but it's all gonna be glued in such a way that it can't be taken apart anymore. So I would like it if it could just clip together, but the fact is this door weighs several thousand times what the original one does, and it's one of those things where a pressure fit doesn't scale up beautifully, so I had to modify it a little bit. Now, to get these pieces together and these, that should be all of the hinge. Okay. Go. So that's how long I need the all thread to be. The world's mightiest hacksaw. This blade is not super sharp after cutting through fiberglass. Ugh. All right, there's the theoretical function of it, which kind of actually works when I'm supporting something very lightweight. But even at that weight, it's stopping to work. Oh, and with the whole door, yeah, not a chance. So we got our all thread. Beautiful, all the way down through, and hopefully that'll be strong enough. Now we keep gluing things together.
It's upside down?
I think so. This is, well, one of them is upside down relative to that. Yeah, because that's supposed to be the bottom, and that's what has the opening. Literally, this is the exact thing I said I needed to make sure I did. I couldn't tell which was the top and the bottom when I was only assembling these portions of it. And that's what I needed to check. I just needed to check that I was doing it right. Oh my gosh. Slow curing glue to the rescue, maybe. Come on, glue. Don't have set yet. Don't have all set yet. Yep. Come on. wiggle off, wiggle off. Nice. Sweet. Okay. Whew. All right. Good start, good start. Yeah, hold that door hinge in place. Excellent, that's working great. Oh, look at that door opening and closing. Oh, almost like I knew what I was doing. Let's go into my little hidey hole prison here. Oh, I always loved building with these toys when I was a kid. It's such a fun thing to play with, and now I actually get to like be inside it, not just use. Oh, it's a lot of fun. I liked this kind of toy because it was so engaging. I got to be making something, not just passing the time, and that's still something that really applies to me as an adult who loves making things, which is one of the main reasons I'm excited to be partnering with boot.dev as the sponsor for today's video. What if a company took game design and used it to teach people about coding and programming and software building? Boot.dev is giving people a fun way to train for a career in software development. I have completed the first few levels of the gamified training, and no joke, this is making programming make so much more sense to me than like it ever has before. Learning to code can be daunting. That's how I've always felt about it. But boot.dev helps anyone learn back-end web development like Python, JavaScript, Go, SQL, or just any language that you might need, start to finish. And they make it so you have fun while you're doing it. They've honestly like gamified it. So like you gain XP, you gain levels, and you compete on a worldwide leaderboard. This really feels like the best way to learn coding because there's a whole community here. So there's support if you get stuck. And they even have things like bi-monthly boss battles that everyone can join in on. You can have an entire new programming career path in just a year thanks to boot.dev's engaging coding methods. This is real coding. It's real projects and, you know, added bonus, it's real fun thrown in there. It's free to create an account and to demo the interactive features of their courses. Get back into my little prison here. Go to boot.dev and try it out for free. Then use my code NFTI to get 25% off your entire first year when you select the annual plan. Start coding, have fun. Yeah, there we go. Now the steps in the instructions that we're working on today, a lot visually happens. If you're actually building the set from the original pieces, it's not all that much because the wall panel pieces are just a piece that you put in place. For me, the wall panels are a lot. Like there's 25 of them in this whole set, and every single one of them I have to build out of pieces that I can fit on the printers that I'm using. Now there are printers out there that can print larger pieces. Maybe there are some that could do a whole one of these wall panels at once, but I kind of don't think so. At any rate, Prusa has provided the printers that we're using, and I'm going to be sticking to those printers, so everything has to be scaled to fit on those print beds and then turned into larger pieces later. So let's take a look at how I am making these wall panels now, which is a change from how I was making them in the last video. This is my first wall panel. I talked about this in the last video a decent amount, but this was basically a prototype. There's a lot of things wrong with it. You can see that there are gaps. Some of it I printed in the wrong orientation, so the print lines don't line up. I've gone in and tried to use a 3D pen to fill some gaps as well as some other things, and overall it's just messy. It's rough. It's much rougher than I want it to be. And I know that an actual Lego set, there are lines between the pieces and it kind of gives that brick castle look. And I get that, and I want to keep the lines between pieces, but I wanted to lessen the visibility of lines that are within a single piece. So this was my first prototype wall, and then I moved on to get a little better after this. Wall panel 2, slight improvement. I lined up the pieces a little bit better. I attached them together a little bit better. At this point, wall panels 1 and 2, I was still using glue to hold everything together. It worked okay, definitely an improvement, still not great. I kept tweaking the design and how I was putting it together, and I was getting something better. The gaps on this wall are a little bit less once again, but I still thought I could do better. So I actually did an almost entire redesign of how I was putting the walls together. So that brings us to the most updated wall design. Let's take a look at what I've done to eliminate some of the gaps, both vertical and horizontal, and make assembly way faster and easier. Now the first thing that it's a major change is I've added the same locking dovetail system to a lot of it that I use in the main bricks.
which means that these pieces slide together. Gotta push these tabs in, and then it clicks into place, and it doesn't come apart again. There's a locking mechanism in there that doesn't let the parts separate. That's a good step. However, the bigger change is how I've made it so that the parts link together going vertical from one layer into the next. Before, those are just glued together. Now, I've got something way better than that. This is the bottom of this wall piece. It prints upside down, but this is the bottom, and I've got this locking system made of this sort of pentagon shape. And that shape is important because as it prints, it's elongated enough that the angles are all like nice and vertical angle. And the important thing is they don't need any overhangs, they don't need any supports to print. So it can just print like this, 0 supports. And the other side, it's the same thing, but in negative. It can print this gap without any supports to it. So that makes it print faster and more reliably. These parts are also tapered, so they fit together in sort of a wedge shape, which means I can line them up and push it together. And it's gonna hold on nice and tight. You can also see this sort of like cutaway strip from the bottom. That has to do with what they're doing when they're overlapping. So it's cut away down here, it's added on up here. You can see that with this cutaway and this add-on, when I put them together, we end up with just one horizontal line. We end up with a panel that, while still has lines all over it, they're a lot less weird looking than they would have been if I had just left this sort of like jagged cutout keystone profile. Let go. They hold on pretty well. Let's start assembling this wall, and I've got more details to show about how it goes together, but for a moment, it's just gonna be putting things together. So when printing these things, one of my primary goals is to not need supports. As much as possible, I'm trying to make it so I don't need supports. So things like the bottom of this, where there's spaces here and here, those kind of have to print that direction facing up. But then at the top of the panel, there's pieces like this, where we screw in the studs. And once again, I don't want to have supports here, so I want that side facing up, which means that somewhere in the wall, there has to be a transition, where I go from everything printing that direction to everything printing that direction. So here is how I've managed that. So I do have these pieces. This is where it switches. And you can see that instead of having a piece that goes down and fits into these keyholes, I've got keyholes on both sides, and then I've printed off separate pieces that have the other part on both sides. It's sort of like a butterfly or bow tie connecting mechanism used in woodworking. Now the way that these print, I have cleanup I have to do on all of them. I've just got this fun little tool that's really good for cleaning up edges. It's a blade on a guide, on a swivel, so I can put it in contact and just pull it across, peels it right off. Right, and then on the walls, there's a little support piece that goes right here, and I turned that support piece into a lock that holds everything together. So it just keystones into 2 sides at once, and then bam, held in place. Ta-da, we have a whole wall that holds itself together with no glue whatsoever. Now, is it perfect? No, there's still very visible lines on the back, and like I talked about in the last video, I don't really love that. So I am still exploring options for how to minimize those lines. Ways that might involve adding some more melted plastic, or even a colored putty or something I could match just right. I've been talking on my Discord with a lot of people who have joined up to help brainstorm these ideas. There have been some good thoughts about how to do this. I've tested a few of them out. Some of them haven't worked yet. Some of them have worked okay and still need workshopping. But overall, even if I do nothing else, this is such a huge improvement over my version 1, or even my version 2, or even my version 3. I'm on like version 4.5, something like that. The important thing is that it looks much more cohesive. I've minimized vertical lines and I've not entirely eliminated horizontal lines, but they're so much less than they were before. Not only is the gapping issue minimized because of how the pieces now connect together, but also because the change in the design that allows them to bond eliminates some of the long straight parts. This before just went from this corner to this corner unbroken, but now because it has that missing pentagon shape in there, it's not a continuous line and there's not the same contraction issues that pulls it up on the corners. It's not entirely eliminated. I do still have some long straight areas that are a little bit prone to peeling up, but playing around with some printer settings along with those changes has made them much, much less noticeable. I need more walls. Now, if you think this is a cool project and you would like to be a part of it, I have come up with a couple ways that you could do that. On the website, NFTI Stuff, niftystuff.com, you can get your name put on a floor tile or a brick. There are group and individual options for both of those things, so kind of like a spread of pricing options there. But these aren't some like thing that are going to be printed and thrown away. These are going to be integrated, built into the castle, and every one of them will be placed somewhere where it won't get covered. So like the floor tiles will never go somewhere where a brick goes on top of them. All of the brick faces with names printed on them will be facing somewhere that isn't like into a wall, so it's always going to be visible if we're pointing the camera in that direction. Anyone who sees the castle will be able to see those names. So if you want to get yours, that's niftystuff.nftistuff.com. There are limited numbers of each one of these. I'm adding more for every video, but they could sell out, so get yours before they do. Now, of all of the many wall pieces that are in this set, most of them just look like this on the back. They're just blank, all one color, the same color as most of the bricks. But a few of the walls actually have some decorative elements that make it look like there's like some different colors of stone in them. And there's a few different ways that I could approach this. I thought about making stickers. I thought about just painting them on, but I did think it would be cooler if it was actually printed in place. So to make it so those parts are permanently integrated, not just a sticker or some paint, I've actually gone ahead and designed modifications that have those brick pieces included. So this is printed on the Prusa XL, which has the multiple tool head changer, so it can have multiple colors loaded at once. So it did most of the wall parts as normal, but I made very thin cutouts that are the shape of those brick or stone patterns in the wall, and I'll just assemble the wall the normal way, but it should give us that nice decorative pattern we're looking for. Just bit into my finger right between the corners. It just scissored. It's painful. I gotta give a huge thank you shout out to all of the supporters I have on Patreon who have joined after seeing the beginning of this project. This is a huge project that is taking up a ton of my time, a ton of my availability for working on videos. So it makes an enormous difference and I'm very thankful to you. If you are interested in joining those incredible Patreons, the link for that is down in the description. I have been releasing a lot of exclusive and behind the scenes footage to my Patreon supporters. And there's gonna be more stuff coming down the line, including coupons and discount codes for other things we've got in the store. So if you're interested in any of that, it would make a world of difference to me if you join the Patreon. And I do have stuff I release both for the paid tiers and the free tier of Patreon. Got these crenellation sort of pieces made out of black plastic. We've got some ones that go at an angle, and we've got some ones that go at like a corner angle. So I don't have all of these printed yet, but I have a few, so let's get some of them up. Yeah, there we go. Doing a great job of holding the other pieces where they need to be. There's some wobble in some parts, and as you put more pieces together, it actually eliminates some of the wobble, which is what you'd expect, but it's nice to see it working in reality. Okay, looking good. In addition to getting up quite a bit of wall and brick material today, we are going to be working on something else. I think that it's time we make well, not a mini, but a mega figure? Yeah, let's get a mega figure made. I shall call him Mini-Me. All right, so this is my first mega figure we're going with. So, the neck screws on, so I can just screw. There's the neck still attached in there. There you go, back on there, buddy. Yep, perfect. All right, so I don't actually know for sure yet how many of these I'm going to make. And even this is actually just a prototype. Most of them I'm gonna want like a logo printed into the shield, kind of the same way I'm doing the printed design into the walls. I want that like permanently in here, not just a sticker or painted on. So I have to design and get those printing. But for now, this guy, like I said, basically a prototype. I actually want to change a couple things, including the hands. So I thought it was gonna be the perfect size to fit the sword. And I even knew that because of the differences in scaling, I can't just clip the sword in the normal way. Kind of have to slide it in from the top, but even like that, it's really, oh man. Okay, so it's kind of fitting. It's a little too heavy for him to hold it up properly. I want to expand the inside of the hand, the gripping surface in here by like 0.2 millimeters, just the tiniest bit so that the sword is not really at risk of cracking the hands, which it is right now, but I think he's looking pretty good. And let's see if we can get him to actually stand on the studs. You may have seen as it was being assembled, there was some blue tape on some key parts, like on the hips and on the shoulder joints of the arms. And that's because the tolerances of everything is not 100% perfect, especially when you are trying to line up a joint with a piece that's two that fit together. The tolerances sort of change when you have those two that fit together like that. Boy, one foot's really sticking. So I just make it a little bit oversized and then I go in afterward and I tighten it up by wrapping some tape around the joint. All right, chip your back just a little. Yep, keep your sword down at your side where it's safe. And I've got one more little detail that we have to give him. Yeah, look at that. Oh, he looks so good. Ever since I've started this project, I've had people asking if I'm going to be releasing the files. Well, I'm happy to announce the very first of the files is now available to purchase on the website, NFTIstuff.com. It's a pack of 4 STLs for the 1x1 brick, the end piece of the bricks, and the middle piece for the bricks. So if you have just these two, you can do 1 by any length of brick that you want, and then if you just want a 1x1, you've got this. It also comes with the stud, which of course fits on all of them. This is just the first set of the files that I'm releasing, and it's kind of at early adopter pricing right now. It's set at $5, and down the road, I'm not sure what pricing is gonna be. It will probably get lower. I'll probably have separate options to buy any individual files, but then bundles for people who want a lot of the different file options together. So if you're really eager to get started now, they're up on the website, you can get them now. If you want to have more of the variety of the files, it might be worth it to you to wait a little while until I have more of them released as a better deal bundled together.